Hey, welcome to another episode of Your Faith and Health Community. I'm your host, Pastor Jackie Jackson, and as always, on behalf of myself and our producer, Anita Alexander, we want to thank you very much for taking out time from your day to spend with us. Hopefully and prayerfully, we will say something that will not only be a life changer, but will improve your quality of life. And I guess at the end of the day, improving your quality of life is a life changer, right? So it covers it all. Before we start, yep, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it until you get tired of me saying it and you do something about it. If you have not enrolled in healthcare, it's still not too late. I know November is around the corner, but why wait for open enrollment if you've had a life-changing event? If you just recently gotten married, divorced, had a baby, recently moved into the state of Ohio, left a job or started a new job, or you're just newly re-entering back into society from a correctional institution, that means that you've had a life-changing event, which makes you eligible to enroll in healthcare ahead of the open enrollment. Now, if you're single and your income is $16,223 or less, that makes you eligible for Medicaid. Medicaid covers medical, dental, vision, medication, doctor's visits, emergency room visits. It covers everything. Now, if you're a family of four and your income combined or just one or the other is $44,500 or less, then that makes your entire family of four eligible for Medicaid. One of the good things about Medicaid is there is no closed enrollment. So you can enroll in Medicaid year-round. Listen, I'm going to end here with just saying, get enrolled. I'm excited. I'm always excited because whenever we get information, it's awesome. The Bible says, my people perish for lack of information. And so today, there will be no need for you to perish. We could cover that in this half hour. We have with us two individuals. You've met or you've seen Valerie before. Valerie Dow, she is we work together with the City of Cincinnati Department of Human Relations, Community Outreach Advocates. Valerie, as mentioned on one of the last shows, is a resource. I call her a resource expert. That's what I look at. Somebody that if you need to know about housing, if you need to know about food, if you need to know about clothing, about getting your kids back in school, getting yourself back in school, whatever it is, whatever your situation dealing with resources, Valerie Dow is a person to reach out to. I've had the joy and the privilege of watching her work with people, and sometimes work with people where I'm thinking like, I have no idea how you're gonna get this one done. And to God be the glory, because of persistence, because of heart, and that becomes a big thing, because of the heart and because of the caring, she's able to get it done. So thanks for coming back again, Valerie.
Thank you.
And then to my right, we have Angela Merritt. I met her once before at an event. We had a chance to talk, and now I'm getting reacquainted with you, and I thank you very much for coming on the show. And this show today, what we want to talk about is homelessness. And it's probably a topic that most people don't even want to deal with. You know, you try to get away from it, but there's no way in any city, and in our city, that you're not going to walk down the street, especially if you're downtown. And in all honesty, not just downtown. We always think of homelessness being just somewhere downtown in the inner city. There are people that you may see walking around in the suburbs that are homeless. You just don't realize it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so we want to talk about that. And I thank you very much for coming on to talk about that with us. And from my understanding, at one point in your life, you experienced homelessness.
Yes, I did experience homelessness for 11 years. 11 years I was homeless.
11 years.
Yes.
I did not know that. So can you just tell us a little bit, to get past what everybody's perception of what homelessness is, you know, and I've heard it from different spectrums. You hear some crazy thoughts, or, well, they're homeless because they just want to be homeless, you know, or they need to pull themselves up. So would you share with us how you ended up homeless?
Well, I had a lot of events that had happened in my life that led up to the homelessness. That a lot of things was untreated, far as being a child of molestation, being having a dysfunctional family, you know, and not getting treated for some of the issue of the molestation. So I went on through life and having kids and all of that, being untreated, undiagnosed, and come to find out through the homelessness and coming to a place of a shelter, I was diagnosed with a mental disability and using drugs along the way through my homelessness and alcohol. So through that, in and out of prison, in and out of the correctional institutions, a whole. So I was just, it went to like a spiral, a downhill spiral. Untreated diagnosis, traumatized during the homelessness. So one thing led to another that kept piling up. Issues kept piling up on top of issues that never got resolved until I got to a point of getting into a shelter. And that's when I already knew Valerie, but she helped me and led me in the right direction to many resources.
Resources.
I went through GCB.
And what is GCB?
Greater Cincinnati of Behavior. It's a place for people with mental disabilities. So I went through them. It was someone at the shelter. They had a path, and they helped me, and then I got into mental health through Greater Cincinnati Behavior. And then from there, they helped me with getting stable, getting back stable with medicine and therapy groups, groups with people just like me with more than one diagnosis of mental health and addiction. So they call that dual diagnosed.
Mm-hmm. Dual diagnosed.
Mm-hmm.
And from all of that, so you did that, and then all of a sudden everything was okay, right, with the homeless? It just changed overnight.
Oh no, it was like, 2000, that was like in 2000, well, from 1999, up until I'll say 2010, things started getting better for me. Because even in 2007, when I went to the shelter, I started doing the program, a mental health court. I did a 12-step program. I did that for a whole year straight just to get some corrective thinking. And also, I went to church. I became a member of New Prospect Baptist Church.
Hey, Damon Lynch.
Damon Lynch.
My buddy.
Yes, and so it took a whole lot of things to get me back, full circle, back to the place where I needed to be, as they call sane.
Well, you picked a good church with a good pastor, faith leader to help with that.
Yes.
During the time of homelessness, was your family, because you mentioned you had children, were your family with you? Because I know there are some complete families that are living homeless. Were your children with you at that point?
No. By the time I got to the point of homelessness, the kids had been taken away. And that's what drove me over the edge, because of the system, society puts people in a certain label. They say they're gonna help you, then they make it hard to get the help. And so at the point of not being able or feeling that I had enough support because of my upbringing, a country upbringing, you don't get outside help. We do this on our own. We just,
That's in our community. That's a city way as well.
Yeah. But and it's a city way, So I had to pray and ask the God of my understanding to help me decipher and get my own, start getting my own beliefs and values and morals all over again, because of being in the box, you know, what I supposed to be like as a black woman, and how much I supposed to be able to handle, because I became a single parent. By the age of 27, I had 3 kids, and with the unresolved help far as the molestation and along the way, abuse, physical, being a battered woman, all of that became overwhelming. And I had a nervous breakdown, and then, you know, the kids got taken. So, you know, yeah.
Let me, I just want to stop with the questioning for a second, and I want to say this. One, I was nowhere near prepared for your testimony. Valerie told me a little bit, but you know, she didn't just open up your door
Right.
and just pull everything out.
Yeah.
So I'm just really wasn't prepared for that. And I also want to say that I think you are definitely one strong black woman. If you were a white woman and you were having this conversation, but you are a
Right.
black woman, I just want to say that you're one strong black woman to sit here and to pour out, to open up, as they say, open up your closet and just let or as much as you have let out. Because I'm really sitting here trying to figure out what to say next as I'm listening to you, and every time I think I know, then you brought out something else that was really amazing to me. That one, like I said, you're sitting here and you're willing to tell your story in order to help other people, but also the fact that you're sitting here, that God sustained you and brought you through.
Yes.
And so I just wanted to say that before we continue on with the interview part of it, because I'm humbled. I mean, really,
I'm still in awe of where I'm at in my life right now, and the people that God has placed in my life to help me come back to Him and not to be ashamed of where I've been, because I know shame keeps you away from growth and helping others. So I know during the time when I was homeless before I got the help, I used to pray a lot, you know, in the alleys and on the back streets and in the abandoned buildings about how I helped me, God, because I done lost the ability to help myself. And if you save my life, I want to be used as a vessel to let other women especially, but other people in general, know that they don't have to live their life the way that I did, in shame and guilt.
how long, so you mentioned drug abuse. How long have you been clean, if that's the right phrase to ask?
I've been clean since 2007.
Oh, to God be the glory.
Yes.
To God be the glory. That's awesome. You know, I'm gonna tell you something, and I know we met, but you don't know me. It takes a lot to shut me up. I'm not shy by any stretch. Well, technically I am shy, but I hide it very well. And it's rare I'm doing an interview and I just don't know. I don't know even what to ask you, because you said so much. And Valerie,
Yeah.
I'm gonna come back to you.
Yes,
And the good thing about this is we do a half-hour show, but this is a series actually. Homelessness, mental health, and recovery. So we're going to have a lot of time over a period of weeks to have this discussion. So I understand I don't have to rush, try to get everything in.
Good.
And that's a good thing it's really good, because we wouldn't get too much further today right now. I'm full. I guess that's the thing to say.
Okay.
So Valerie, she mentioned that you all gained a relationship, and through that, you said that what we talk about, resources and reaching out. So can you talk about that meeting or that initial meeting with you two?
Well, I don't know if it was a meeting.
Well, I mean, when you guys met, that's what I mean by the meeting.
Well, I think we came from the same. Her story is similar to my story. So when you talk about being homeless, I've been homeless. And it kind of reminded me of this thing we did. What does homeless look like? And you never know who you're sitting next to. You never know the person across you, if they're homeless or not. So homeless don't have a face, you know. When you talk about homeless, you got to look at, there's many definitions. We see the people on the streets. I was the one who was the couch surfer. I'll go over here, I'll go over there. And Angie said something about praying. And I remember when I get high, I was always in somebody's house, and I go talk about God, and I get put out. So everywhere I go, I'll be getting high, talk about God, asking them, do they have a Bible, and I get put out. And at the end of my using, I found myself in the hallways because nobody would let me in to get high anymore. And I couldn't understand why not. How come it was wrong? So, you know, there's many phases to the homelessness. Angie and I been knowing each other for almost 20 years. And we met when we were homeless. I got clean before she did. So I'm coming up on 19 years clean. And so when she came into the shelter, I was already working for the health care for the homeless. So all I did was pointed her in what direction to go and supported her.
But support is, because I would assume that I don't have to assume, I know, there are a lot of people that are homeless that have no support.
Yeah.
But I do know there was someone that worked down at Crossroads, and when I was with Enroll America, we were just having a conversation, and I don't remember, I know what it was. I apologize, he didn't work at Crossroads, but we had a table set up outside where we were helping people to get enrolled in Medicaid at that point, because the process for Marketplace is a longer process. And the guy came up and he was talking to me, and you said, what does homeless look like? He didn't look homeless. And we were talking, and I got down to, where's your address? And he went, I don't have an address. And I was like, you're homeless? He said, yeah. I was like, no, you're not. He said, no, I am homeless. But his brother is a police officer. And he said, I have a home whenever I decide I want to go. And at one point he did go, and his brother took him in, and then he did some things that got him put back out. But even with that, he said, you know, my brother and his wife and his family, they have told me, as soon as you're ready, you can come back. Okay. And so that's a level of support. But I would think that everybody that's homeless doesn't have someone saying, hey, whenever you decide that you want to come on in, come on in.
Well, I think, and one of the things you got to remember, when you're looking at that 18 to 24 population, you got to remember a lot of them are coming out of foster care. So as they age out of foster care, and a lot of them, they may get the apartment or they may not. They may go to the lighthouse where it don't work out. So the streets.
Yeah.
And so and because of that, there is no support. There is no foundation or family.
There's no family
that's
support
there. And that's
yeah.
what I mean by the support there.
Yeah.
There's no mom or dad or brother
yeah.
or sister saying, hey, when you're ready, come on, we got
yeah.
you covered. And so that would be leaving someone, or someone is left with their only choice of either A, staying in the position, or doing like you guys said, you know, you
yeah, because I had family members and that would let me come and stay with them and stuff like that. But I didn't have an address of my own. And because of your pride, sometimes your pride will have you in a place feeling alone and being alone. So, you know, so I've noticed that with a lot of homeless people, because now God has brought me full circle, I should say. I'm now, my job entitles working at a homeless center.
So so in a sense, you got on the job training to deal with the population. I don't mean
Yes.
that.
I know what you're
I'm not
saying.
trying to be funny, but you got on the job training because you got to look at excuse me, things. There are some positions that people get where they're dealing with a population. They have absolutely no idea. It's just a job, you know. And so when it's just a job and you come in, there are things that you're probably not ready to deal with, or you don't want to deal with, or your goal is to let me get this 40 out of the way and get going. But because of, and this is where I believe God does with us, sometimes he allows us to get in positions that are not desirable, that are not things that you would want for your life, but because what he knows he's got way down the road, you need to get this. He didn't say you're going to want it, but you need to get this because of who he wants you to deal with. You know, because I see people often that are dealing with a population that has zero compassion, you know, that almost as if they are a burden on their life, and this is what you get paid to do, but they act as though it's a burden. And that's in part, now I'm sure there are some people that are the same way, that may have come through the doors, but they've forgotten where they come from, right? Or where they've been, where they were temporarily, right? But that there are people, they don't have compassion. So you lived, I mean, you didn't say you were homeless for a few months or for a year. 11 years that's over a decade.
Yes.
And so through that, and being a woman, you know, let me switch over to that part. Being a woman and homeless, because I would think there's got to be some challenges to an already challenging situation. Do you mind speaking on what that's like?
Yes, it's very challenging and it's very dangerous. And on top of the other issues that I had coming into the homelessness, that's why I was saying other things came added to the issues of my homelessness, because for one, I had never been in that situation. So it was traumatizing. It's a whole different world of surviving a living, way of living on the streets, especially as a woman. There's many things that happens. For myself, unfortunately, I had been raped 3 times.
And this was on the street?
On
while
the
you
streets.
were homeless?
On the streets. So that added to my mental health, because I kept going on after that untreated therapy, you know, getting help for that.
Did you seek any, and I guess this will take off down a whole different street, but did you seek help from the police? And if so,
no.
So, and do
you
you think
kept on, you keep on going like nothing really happened, but it did happen. So I had to address those things, and I got stopped in 2007 when I got off the streets. I dealt with all of those things because they needed to be addressed for me to get back some peace and serene and find me again, to get the help. So, you know, clean out the closet, you know, the baggage, you know, because the secrets keep you sick, you know.
And I think one of the things what Jackie is talking about, when you're living on the streets and you done been raped, and you don't have that moment to say, let me call 911.
No.
You know, it's none of that. It's let me patch it up and move on to the next.
Move on. So
you know.
I get that
and
next
then
fix.
as you start to, you know, like she said, it happened 3 times to her. It only happened once to me. But then I become guarded. You become guarded. And then you find yourself compromising your own morals, your own values, your own principles for the promise of what? Of whatever.
So I would imagine that homeless women are taken advantage of
Oh, yeah.
a lot.
A
You
lot.
know, I imagine it's a lot. And I would wonder, well, I think I have an idea around that too, that if they did go to the authorities, how would they, I mean, you could be a woman working at P&G and go to the authorities and you're subject to be treated crazy.
Yeah.
So being a woman that's homeless, I could only imagine that you're probably not going to get much help, or, I mean, I don't know, so I'm imagining,
Yeah.
I'm guessing that you're probably not going to get a lot of help from the authorities because of your situation, which, like you said, now that just becomes another stack on the pile
Right.
of something that, you know, while you're trying to work your
Demoralized.
way
You
up.
get demoralized. You know, treated like you're not human.
Yeah.
For one, and you are. Like, how dare you say something about this? You put yourself in that situation. No matter what situation I am in, I'm never asking to be violated. You know, so just the minimum of concern of another human being. Yes, that's there a lot.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
This time went really fast. I just kind of got the signal that she gave me the 5-minute signal a while ago, so we're probably down to about 2 minutes. And like I said, the good thing is this is a series, and we're going to run this maybe more times than we initially thought we would run it, because it's just not something that I could see that can go fast.
Okay.
Or as much time as you can give us
Yes,
to do
sure.
this and to talk about it. But I really think it's awesome. If you're out there and you have someone in your family that is experiencing homelessness right now, or if you are by chance seeing this and you're experiencing homelessness, or you've gone through it, I would say if you've gone through it, definitely reach out. Go find someone, talk to them, just spend a minute. And especially for our women that are on the street homeless, everybody that's homeless, but you know our women have got to be more vulnerable. And you've heard testimony to the fact that it is. You know, we need to be in prayer. There's a scripture, and I can't recall it. I'm not really the Bible scholar that some people are, so I can't recall the scripture. But it talks about during judgment, when God comes back and he says, you fed me, when I was hungry, and it's like, when did I feed you? And he said, when you took care of mine. And so we've got to get into the mind of taking care of ours. So I want to thank you very much for taking time out with us. Listen, stay faithful and stay healthy.